Next week on Thursday, Chapter 11. Never. The office buzzed with activity that afternoon. Furniture and filing cabinets were being moved around and shoved into different rooms. Files piled up in every corner awaited boxing before being sent away for shredding. An atmosphere of urgency prevailed, as if there was no more time to waste. Two raucous Asian gentlemen handled the proceedings. A sense of desolation grabbed me in the entrails. I felt very much in the way. What's going to happen to my files? Harold looked helpless. Gloria stuck her head in time and again to get instructions regarding the mountains of miscellaneous documents. I waited for a lull in the general commotion before speaking. I was eager to discuss the germ of an idea simmering in my head since the weekend. I unzipped my handbag and took out a dog-eared card. Harold's eyes were alive with interest as he read a computer-generated invitation I handed him. Alpha, an opportunity to explore the meaning of life. It said. A friend lent me the videos. I told him. My voice throbbed with enthusiasm. Would you like to come over on Tuesday afternoon and watch some of them with me? There's one on the topic of healing I'd love you to see. He nodded and smiled. You'll enjoy the speaker. He's a lawyer, educated at Oxford and Cambridge. His name is Nicky Gumbel. Shall I pick you up? I paused to catch my breath. Harold shook his head and used his hands to indicate that he would drive himself. I contained my excitement. Okay, see you tomorrow then. He shouldn't be driving. Are they all blind? The visit was short, no more than a few minutes. Tomorrow, Thursday, I could look forward to some worthwhile time. The office was deserted when I walked in at 4 o'clock the next afternoon. A hum of voices came through the closed double doors of the library. Kathy stuck her head out of a cubicle window. The meeting has been going on forever, she said. It shows no sign of adjourning. I waited for 5 minutes, then decided I had to leave. He wouldn't be in the mood for company when he was done. He'd be exhausted. I stepped outside with an inexplicable feeling of relief. Things had changed. I was beginning to feel redundant in the office setting. The phone rang around 9 o'clock that evening. I felt a chill of anxiety when I heard Gloria's voice. Something's wrong. Selena, Harold is so sorry he kept you waiting, she commenced. No preamble. I suspected he would be very tired at the end of the meeting, I offered. He was disappointed to find you gone. It's not just that, Gloria. I've begun to feel a bit uncomfortable in the office. I don't see why, she interjected before I could go further. After all, it's his time, his office, and you are visiting a friend. Anyway, you discuss it with him. Gloria's manner was brisk, a little tart. I was crestfallen and wondered why. She added, hesitantly, he wanted to know if you could come tomorrow at 3:30. I said I would reschedule my afternoon and be there. I picked up an email the next morning. I wish you had waited. I excused myself from the meeting at 4:05, announcing I had another appointment, and found you were gone. Love, Harold. Our conversation the next afternoon was brief. Harold jabbed half-heartedly at his keyboard. He was tired. I offered to read, and he agreed readily. This way he could listen and not have to make any verbal contribution towards the process of communication. I pulled out my complete works of Oscar Wilde and flipped through the index of short stories to The Nightingale and the Rose. The words of the poignant tale, like precious old lace and priceless pearls, slid off my tongue. Harold listened intently, unspoken thoughts trembling on his lips. His eyes brimmed over with moisture. He made no effort to brush away. I paused a couple of times to swallow a lump that threatened to strangle me. Harold made no comment when I was done. He began to type laboriously while I put the heavy volume away in my bag. Phrases floated across the computer monitors as he tapped. Gloria enjoyed her visit. She was full of praises for your garden. I was blindsided by what came next. A single line flew out and flung itself like acid in my face. I will never embrace your Jesus. A wild wave of anger washed across his face. Shock and horror churned within me, and then a deep sadness. My throat tightened and my eyelids burned with tears. The atmosphere in the room underwent a sinister change. What made you say that? My voice was barely above a whisper. Where did that come from? I didn't recall any previous conversation that might have precipitated this outburst. He wrote, "From your writings." My writings? I felt stupid and vulnerable. Harold was one of the few people I'd felt free to share my journal thoughts with. The crooked fingers stabbed at the keys. More words leapt out, ugly and furious. God has to earn my love. Has he? My voice was small. I couldn't be sure if he nodded or shook his head. Then the venom fell away from his eyes. He looked sheepish and deflated. An impotent sense of foolishness seeped right through me. We were talking about Gloria, I persisted. So where did this barrage come from? I trusted you, with the precious thoughts from the quiet places in my heart. I could see Harold was as stunned as I was. The thing had crept up on him like a tidal wave. We were both overwhelmed. In my bag was my Bible, from which I'd planned to read Psalms 23 and 91 because of their depth and power to strengthen and comfort. "I'll never share my garbage with you again," I said frostily, picking up the binder of poems and scribbles I'd brought with me. He spoiled everything. I felt I had no choice but to gather my tattered dignity and leave. To be continued.